Mama Rita's Secret Recipe, a story by Loveth African Stories. Mama Rita owned one of the most sought-after restaurants in her village. Her food wasn't just a meal, it was an experience. A ritual. A craving no one could resist. Every morning, before the sun was fully awake, a crowd would already be gathered in front of her shop. Expensive cars, bikes, and even wheelbarrows were parked by the roadside. People stood with plates in hand, yawning and stretching, eyes fixed on the road, waiting. Waiting for Mama Rita. Then, like clockwork, 7 a.m. sharp, she'd appear, pushing a massive squeaky wheelbarrow stacked with steaming pots of assorted food. The moment the crowd saw her, a cheer would erupt. Mama Rita, Mama Rita. Some would rush to help her push the barrow, not because of kindness, but because they wanted to be served first. Everyone knew, if you helped Mama Rita unload, you had a chance to jump the line. With the confidence of a queen, she'd set her table, line up the pots, and then shout. If you know you want to be served first, form a single line. If you don't stay in line, no food for you. And just like that, the crowd straightened up. Even the toughest customers fell in line like obedient children. Because everyone knew Mama Rita didn't beg customers. Her food spoke for itself. But she wasn't done yet. She would raise one hand high and declare, "You know the rule, God first. I don't sell without praying." And then she'd close her eyes and begin to pray loudly, passionately. "Father Lord, bless this food. Let it nourish the soul of everyone who eats it. Let no evil pass through these pots." The customers would bow their heads, some peeking, some pretending, others whispering amen just to hurry things up. But Mama Rita, she'd take her time. She prayed like a woman who cooked for angels. And once she was done, boom, chaos. "Mama Rita, this is my plate. I came first." Lie. "I saw when he drove in. I've been here since 4 a.m. You lie. Me. Liar." Before long, 2 grown, married men were on the ground, pushing and shoving, wrestling over who came first in line. Plates dropped. Slippers flew. The line dissolved into a noisy mess. Others began struggling to push forward, shouting, waving money, anything to be served quickly. But Mama Rita, she simply crossed her arms, watching the chaos with a small smile playing on her lips. "Calm down, everybody," she finally shouted. "The food will go round. Stop disgracing your age." But truth be told, she was enjoying the drama. Every single day, it was the same thing. Fights. Arguments. Begging. Tears of joy after tasting her food. And why not? Mama Rita's food wasn't just sweet, it was unforgettable. The kind of taste that could make a grown man forget his dignity and fight in public. In Mama Rita's shop, scenes like that were nothing new, it was all part of the daily routine. Mama Rita's delicious food made her the most popular food seller in the entire village. Her shop was always full. From dawn till dusk, people flooded in, men, women, even schoolchildren with their mothers carrying flasks. The aroma of her food floated through the air like a spell, drawing people in from miles away. The rich loved it. The poor could afford it. And everyone agreed Mama Rita's meals were irresistible. Every morning, before stepping out, Mama Rita would stand in front of her tall mirror, laughing wickedly. "This is just the beginning," she would mutter to herself with a smirk. Then she'd load her large food truck with steaming pots of freshly made meals and head through the village road to her shop, where long lines of hungry villagers already waited. But not everyone was happy. In homes across the village, married women were frustrated and heartbroken. Their husbands no longer wanted their cooking. "Is Mama Rita not a woman like you?" the men would scoff. "Go and beg her to teach you. Maybe then, I'll eat at home." Kennedy, once proud of his wife's food, now pushed it aside in disgust. All he wanted was Mama Rita's cooking. Some desperate women finally approached her. "Mama Rita, please, what is your secret? Our husbands are changing. Our homes are falling apart." But Mama Rita would just smile coldly and say, "It's not my fault your food has no taste. Mine is a blessing from above. Go and pray for yours." Though her words sounded spiritual, the smirk on her face told a different story. Whenever a woman walked away, Mama Rita's wicked smile returned, and her laughter echoed as if she knew something they didn't. Men sat shoulder to shoulder in her shop, some eating 3, even 4 plates. Many stopped giving their wives food money altogether. But who could blame them? Her food was like a force. The flavor was out of this world. And that aroma, it didn't just call your name, it dragged you in. Her meals had become the village's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But behind that rich taste and sweet smell was a dark secret. One so terrifying that if the villagers ever discovered the truth behind her blessing from above, they would wish they had never tasted a single bite. Behind the irresistible taste was a truth so chilling. One Mamarita buried deep beneath her calm smile and early morning stew. Before the secret was born, there was pain. Unimaginable pain. Long before she became the most sought-after food seller in the village, Mama Rita lived a life many envied. She was beautiful, admired, and married to a successful businessman named Mr. Stanley. Their home was filled with peace, laughter, and love. But in all of this, they were childless for years, and it bothered the couple deeply. Many nights, sleep escaped them. Their pillows soaked with tears, their hearts longing for a child to call their own. Finally, God came through. Mama Rita became pregnant after many painful, silent years and gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. They named her Blessing, because that is exactly what she was to them. Mr. Stanley was a kind and generous man. But it was Mama Rita who always encouraged him to do more. She was the one who constantly reminded him to help the poor, to support the church, and to give back to the village. You have the money, she would say. Use it to bless others. And he did. Together, they contributed heavily to the church, fed the hungry, and sponsored the needy. People praised them, respected them, admired their generosity. Or so they thought. Because not everyone loved them. Behind their backs, envy grew, especially in the hearts of Mr. Stanley's 2 elder brothers who had long been waiting for an opportunity to take his wealth. Then tragedy struck. Mr. Stanley suddenly fell ill. No remedy worked, not even when they rushed him to the city for treatment. He died. Just like that. And with his death, Mama Rita's world collapsed. But her pain had just begun. After the burial, her husband's elder brothers came knocking, not with sympathy, but with wicked intentions. They tried to seduce her. She refused. So they turned on her with venom. She killed our brother to enjoy his wealth with another man, they told the villagers. And the village believed the lies. The brothers seized every property Mr. Stanley left behind, claiming, "She has no son. His wealth belongs to us." When Mama Rita ran to the village king for help, he laughed in her face. "Woman, do you have a son?" "No," she answered. "Then why are you fighting his family? Marry one of them and enjoy what's left. It's tradition." Her brother-in-law was one of the king's chiefs, so no one dared to challenge them. Desperate, Mama Rita ran to the church, the very one she and her husband had supported with their donations. But the pastor, once so grateful, now turned his back. "Mama Rita, there are too many needs. For now, there's no money. I'll let you know when something comes." Her heart shattered all over again. Then it got worse. Blessing fell sick. Her only child. Her reason to keep going. Mama Rita begged. She sold her last wrappers. She knocked from door to door. But no one helped. And soon, Blessing died. The child she had prayed for, cried for, waited for, gone. And the villagers whispered, "Her hands aren't clean. She's cursed." No one comforted her. Parents warned their children not to greet her. She became a ghost in the village, alive but unwanted. She was a great cook. Everyone knew that. So with nothing left, no family, no help, no home, Mama Rita made a choice. She would start selling food. A decision born from hunger, heartbreak, and desperation. Every day before 4 a.m., she rose to prepare her food. She packed it into pots, loaded them onto a wheelbarrow, and walked through the village shouting, "Buy your delicious rice, beans, stew, moi moi." But no one answered. "Rich man's wife is now a common food seller," they shouted, laughing. "Maybe she will poison us too." Day after day, her food wasted. Other food sellers thrived. She kept losing. Even though her meals were delicious, nobody touched them. And that was when Mamarita, tired, broken, and rejected, reached the end of her rope. She was ready to do anything to silence the laughter, to rise from the shame, to escape the mockery. One day Mama Rita sat quietly in front of her small food shop, her face buried in her palms, tears rolling freely. These days, tears had become her breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She cooked with love and care, but customers rarely came. And when they did, they either insulted her food or vanished without returning. Some even refused to pay. That evening, as the sun set and Mama Rita sat in silence, broken and defeated, she made a decision to give up. Then, out of nowhere, an elderly man approached her humble shop. "I want a plate of rice," he said gently. Startled, he was her first customer since morning. Mama Rita rushed to serve him. After eating, the man smiled and said, "You're a great cook. Well done." She forced a small smile, eyes still full of sorrow. "With food this good," he continued, "your shop should be overflowing with customers. But I see your pots are still full." "It's always like this," she replied with tears in her eyes. "I wake up by 3 a.m. to cook, and still pour it all away. I'm tired of this life." The man looked at her kindly. "I've passed here several times and seen you crying. Would you mind telling me your story?" Mama Rita hesitated. "It's a long one." "I'm all ears," he said, his voice calm and gentle. And so, Mama Rita began to speak. She shared everything: how her husband died, how his family took everything from her, and how the villagers who once praised her now mocked and avoided her. The man shook his head slowly. "That's heartbreaking. But, if you allow me, I can help you. I can make you the most sought-after cook in this town." "How?" Mama Rita asked, confused. "Call me Mr. Paul," he said. "But promise Muhat I'm about to show you must remain a secret. No one must know." "I promise," Mama Rita replied. Desperation had pushed her past the point of questioning. Mr. Paul was a night security guard at the morgue in the next village. He had seen Mama Rita many times, crying alone in front of her shop, and her pain moved him deeply. That night, the two of them walked a long distance in silence. Mama Rita didn't ask questions. Her heart was tired, her soul worn out. When they finally arrived, Mama Rita stopped in her tracks. It was a morgue. Cold, dark, silent. Her heart pounded. "There's a water here," Mr. Paul whispered. "Water used to wash the dead. But this is no ordinary water. I've seen successful food vendors come from far and wide just to get it." He paused, then leaned in. "Just a few drops mixed with regular water, and your food will taste like heaven. People won't be able to resist it. They'll flood your shop. You'll never lack again." Mama Rita's eyes widened. "No," she cried. "That's evil. This is wrong." She turned to leave, but Mr. Paul spoke softly. "Think about where you're coming from. Don't you want a better life? Don't you want those villagers who mocked you to beg for your food, to bow at your feet?" His words were smooth, calm, dangerous. They sank into her like honey into tea. Mama Rita stopped. Her breathing was shallow. Her heart, conflicted. "So, how do I get it?" she asked, her voice trembling. Mr. Paul led her behind the building and pointed at a small rusted tap. "Every night, I'll fill one bottle for you," he said. "Mix it with your water. Just try it once. See the difference." He handed her a bottle. The water inside looked normal. It smelled like nothing. "But, why are you helping me?" she asked, still afraid. Mr. Paul smiled, though his eyes grew distant. "Like I said, I've seen you suffer. Your story touched me. I've been there too, but that's a story for another day." He placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "Don't worry. I was sent by God," he added, laughing lightly, trying to ease the tension. Mama Rita stared at the bottle in her hands. Mama Rita clutched the bottle of dead water tightly as she hurried through the quiet path, her eyes darting around to make sure no one was watching. Her heart pounded with fear, not just of being caught, but of what she was about to become. That night, sleep refused to come. Her mind raced with questions. Was this right? Had she gone too far? But beneath the fear, something else stirred: anticipation. Before dawn, she was up. 3 a.m., as usual. But this morning felt different. With trembling hands, she pulled out the bottle of cursed water and mixed it carefully with the regular. She didn't dare taste the stew. She just stared at it, her eyes filled with fear and wonder. What have I done? By sunrise, Mama Rita had pushed her heavy food barrow into the village market. Her stomach churned with anxiety. What if no one came? What if it didn't work? Then, someone approached. One plate, the man said casually. She served him with a forced smile. He took a bite. Then another. Then a third faster than the last. His eyes widened. Mama, what kind of food is this? He asked, shoveling more into his mouth. This is the best food I've ever tasted. By the end of that same week, Mama Rita's stall was swarming with people. Every morning, a crowd gathered even before she arrived, waiting just for her food. Her name was on everyone's lips. People sang her praises in the streets. Her stew had become a village treasure. Money poured in. Day after day, she sold out. And by the third month, Mama Rita had made enough to build a beautiful, portable restaurant where people could sit and enjoy her food in comfort. She replaced all the wrappers she had once sold out of desperation. Her life had changed completely, and in just under 6 months, Mama Rita became the most successful food vendor in town. But behind the success was a dark secret. Every night, after locking up her shop, Mama Rita would sneak to the back of the morgue. Mr. Paul, always waiting in silence, would fill her bottle with the cursed water. No one saw them. No one knew. And the food? It got even better. People traveled from other towns just to get a taste. Other food vendors sat in empty stalls, watching their customers flock to Mama Rita's place. They cursed her under their breath, but no one could deny her magic. But Mama Rita never tasted her own food. She always cooked something separate for herself. She knew better. Then the strange sickness began. At first, it was barely noticeable. A child with fever. An adult with stomach pain. Then it got worse. Internal problems. Weakness. Failing organs. The villagers whispered of a strange disease, something unseen, creeping slowly across the town. But no one suspected Mama Rita. Her food was too good. Too heavenly. Too perfect to be dangerous. Mama Rita became so rich from her food business that other women in the village became jealous of her, especially when they saw their beloved husbands always hanging around Mama Rita's shop, refusing to eat their wives' food and constantly comparing their cooking to Mama Rita's. But strange things began to happen in the village. One day, while Mama Rita was serving a customer, she overheard him talking to his friends. This strange sickness is killing people. It's kidney failure, something we rarely saw in this village before. Now it's like malaria. People are dying from it because they don't have money for treatment. Even children are getting stomach pains. Some are even dying. But what could be causing all this? One of the men asked. The king should do something or report to the government. I'm scared for my life, another man added. Same here, said his friend. Mama Rita paused. A small flicker of pity touched her heart after hearing their conversation. That night, as usual, she went to the morgue to collect the dead water she used for cooking. She spoke to the morgue attendant, the old man who always prepared it for her. This whole thing started recently, she said nervously. Are you sure this water doesn't have any effect? I mean, these deaths, could it be from this? The man laughed dryly. Are you kidding me, Mama Rita? You should know better. Of course all these strange sicknesses are from the dead water. Jesus Christ, she cried out. But you never told me. You mean my food is the reason people are dying? Why are you bothered? The old man asked, raising an eyebrow. You should be happy. They deserve it. Have you forgotten what they did to you? How they turned their backs on you and your late husband after everything you did for them? Isn't this a good revenge? He tapped her shoulder gently. Oh no, but what about the innocent children? She asked, her voice shaking. They did nothing to me. Mama Rita, have you forgotten how you lost your child? No one helped you. They watched you suffer. I know you're a good woman, but you need a strong heart now. Don't have mercy, they all deserve what's happening to them. Mama Rita looked at him. The once kind old man she knew now sounded wicked and evil. Mr. Paul was very persuasive, using soft but deadly words. He spent minutes convincing Mama Rita to remain wicked, to enjoy her wealth while the villagers died mysteriously. And after remembering all that had happened to her, Mama Rita gave in. "Okay, Mr. Paul," she said coldly. "I've heard you. I'll have no mercy. They will pay for everything." She picked up the container of dead water Mr. Paul had prepared for her and walked away, looking around, scared, making sure nobody followed her. That evening, Mama Rita couldn't sleep. Everything Mr. Paul said kept running through her mind. But am I not going too far? People's organs failing, people dying, because of my food. Why should you care? A voice whispered to her. Enjoy your new fame. Remember, stay wicked. The next morning, as Mama Rita dressed for work, she stood in front of the mirror. Her lips curled into a wicked smile. "This is just the beginning," she whispered to her reflection. "You all must pay for taking my help for granted." She laughed dark and heartless and walked out to start her day. Weeks turned into months. Mama Rita's restaurant kept booming. Her shop was always full men, women. More people fell mysteriously ill. Organs were failing. Bodies weakening. Even the king grew worried, but no one could trace the cause. Still, Mama Rita's customers kept coming. Because her food, it was too sweet to resist. Then came a new face. A young corper named Stella was posted to Mama Rita's village to serve as a school teacher. One evening, returning from work, Stella passed Mama Rita's shop. She was shocked by what she saw: people gathered like ants, some holding plates, others begging for space in the queue. "Wow, what's so special about this food?" she said. "I need to taste it myself." The next morning, Stella woke up early. Before heading to school, she decided to stop by. She was stunned there was already a crowd. "People are this desperate this early? I must try this food before I go," she said, standing in line. Finally, it was her turn. She was served a hot plate. She took the first bite. Then the second. Then the third. Her eyes widened. "How can village food taste this good?" she whispered. "What kind of spice is this woman using?" She didn't stop at one. She finished 3 full plates before leaving for school. But that evening, everything changed. She couldn't sleep. A sharp pain stabbed her stomach. She groaned through the night, sweating and holding her belly. Eventually, the pain stopped. But the next day, after visiting Mama Rita's shop again, it came back. Then again. And again. And again. Still. Stella couldn't resist the food. She became a regular. She told herself, maybe it's just my body adjusting. But the more she ate, the worse her stomach got. Drugs didn't help. Rest didn't help. The pain came every time she ate Mama Rita's food. She began to fall sick. Weak. Dizzy. Afraid. One evening, Stella picked up her phone and called her mother in the city. "Mummy, I don't know what's happening to me," she said, her voice weak and tired. "I keep having this strange stomach pain. I've taken medicine, but nothing's working." Her mother sounded alarmed. "What exactly have you been eating? And the water? Is it clean?" "It's just local food, Mum. From a popular woman in the village. Everyone eats from her. The food is too sweet to resist." Her mother went quiet for a moment, then said softly, "My daughter, this is your first time in the village. Maybe your body doesn't accept their local ingredients. Please, stop eating that food for now. Let's see if anything changes." Stella sighed. "Okay, Mum. I will." But deep down, she didn't know if she could. That food, it had something in it. Something that made her crave more. Something her body was now fighting, but her mind couldn't forget. Stella had had enough. After battling constant stomach pain, she finally decided to listen to her mother's advice. No more food from Mama Rita. She went back to cooking her own meals, and within days, the pain vanished. No more cramps. No more sleepless nights. Could it be the food? She whispered, puzzled. Was Mama Rita's food the reason I've been sick all along? As she pondered, another disturbing thought crept in. What if it's not just me? What if Mamarita's food is behind the strange fever spreading through the village, especially among my schoolchildren? Something was definitely wrong. The next morning, determined to get answers, Stella returned to Mamarita's shop. She bought a plate of food and ate it, just like before. That night, the stomach pain returned sharper than ever. It's the food. I'm sure of it now, she groaned. But what exactly was Mama Rita using? Everyone else seemed enchanted by her meals. Even married men in suits fought like hungry animals just to be served first. There has to be something in that food, something dark. That day, Stella devised a plan. She returned to Mama Rita's shop, pretending to buy food. She waited patiently until Mama Rita sold out again. Then, instead of leaving, she hid in the shadows nearby, watching. Mama Rita cheerfully locked her shop, humming as she walked away. But she didn't head home. That's not the way to her house. Stella thought, heart pounding. Where is she going? Cautiously, Stella followed from a distance, hiding behind trees and buildings. Mama Rita walked for a long while, until she arrived at the village morgue. Stella froze. The morgue? What in the world is she doing here? Peeking from behind a rusted fence, Stella saw something that made her gasp. Mr. Paul, the mortuary attendant, was there, handing Mama Rita a small, sealed keg of murky water. Stella's hands trembled as she pulled out her phone, snapping pictures quickly. Then, she tiptoed closer, hiding just enough to hear their conversation. She hit the record button. Mr. Paul, I can't thank you enough, Mama Rita said, smiling darkly. This dead water you've been giving me has changed my life. Business is booming. I told you, Mr. Paul replied. Cooking with the water used to wash the dead brings fortune and fame. But it comes with a price. Stella nearly screamed. Dead body water? That's the secret. That's what people have been eating. She staggered back, mouth wide open in horror. The sickness, the deaths, the fevers. It all made sense now. She had heard enough. Clutching her phone, she quietly slipped away without being noticed. Her heart raced. The police, the king, the entire village needs to see this. Stella ran, her heart racing, breath unsteady, and legs trembling. What she had just seen and heard haunted her to the bone. Fear gripped her soul, but she knew what she had to do. Early the next morning, she rushed to the village police station. Please. I have evidence, she said, voice shaking. She played the videos and voice recordings, everything she had captured from that terrifying night. The officers listened, stunned. You've done something brave, one of them said. Let's move. Without wasting a second, they jumped into their van, with Stella leading the way to Mama Rita's shop. It was just another quiet morning for Mama Rita until the sudden screech of tires broke the calm. Madam, you are under arrest, one officer declared. What? For what? Mama Rita stammered. You'll understand when we get to the station. Gasps filled the air. The customers around her froze, shocked and confused. Then came the whispers. What's going on? Mama Rita? Arrested? Why? Her food was the best. What did she do? They murmured among themselves, unsure whether to fear her or feel sorry for her. At the police station, while Mama Rita sat behind bars in disbelief, the officers drove straight to the king's palace. There, in the presence of his guards, they explained everything: the mysterious deaths, the sickness, the recordings, and the truth behind Mama Rita's secret recipe. The king sat quietly, listening with wide eyes. When they finished, he sighed deeply. So this is what has been happening in my community. Right under my nose. I would like to meet that brave girl who exposed this evil. She saved many lives. Back in the cell, Mama Rita was shown the evidence: audio recordings, video footage, and confessions. Her face went pale. I'm finished. I'm truly finished, she muttered, breaking down in tears. But why? An officer asked. Why go this far? Through sobs, Mama Rita began to confess. The betrayal. The pain. The strange old man who promised her power. The use of water from the dead. The poisoned meals. The deep thirst for revenge. She cooked with hate in her heart. Every meal was a weapon. Every bite, a punishment. Word of her arrest spread fast. She cooked with water from the dead. People died eating her food. I used to eat from there every day. Panic swept through the village. Customers who had once praised Mamarita's food now trembled with fear. Some ran to the hospital. Others vomited from shock. The villagers were horrified. Such a wicked woman, they shouted. How could she do this? But the truth cut deeper than anger. When the king learned that his own harsh words and actions long ago may have pushed Mama Rita over the edge, he lowered his head in shame. Even the village pastor was speechless, guilt written across his face. Meanwhile, Corpus Stella stood firm. Though her heart felt heavy, she knew justice had to prevail. No matter the pain she felt, she had no right to take lives, Stella said. Too many souls are gone. No evil shall go unpunished. The police tried to track the strange old man. Mama Rita had mentioned the one who introduced her to the ritual, but he had vanished. No address. No name. Some began to wonder, was he even human at all? Or something darker? Mama Rita's revenge didn't spare her husband's wicked brothers either. One of the brothers died mysteriously after falling sick just weeks after eating from her food. The other, still alive, but battling kidney failure and clinging to life. Doctors couldn't explain what was wrong. But Mama Rita knew. No one had arrested them. No one had punished them in public. But fate had its way. They, too, were not spared. In her cold prison cell, Mama Rita sat alone, ashamed, broken, yet strangely satisfied. Her revenge had worked. Her enemies were either dead or ruined. But it had come at a terrible cost. She lifted her head, her eyes swollen from crying. What will happen to me now? She whispered. Will they hang me? Will I rot in prison forever? Do I even deserve a second chance? Tears rolled down her cheeks as she pressed her head against the wall. Mr. Paul, you evil man. Look what you made me become. You destroyed me, and now you're gone. May God punish you, wherever you are. She sobbed uncontrollably, awaiting her final judgment from the High Court, haunted by the taste of her own revenge. Moral lesson. Not all that glitters is gold. Mama Rita allowed pain and desperation to blind her. In her quest for revenge and success, she was deceived by evil and used a deadly recipe that destroyed many lives, including her own. This story reminds us that quick fixes and wicked choices may bring short-term gains, but they always end in regret. True healing comes from forgiveness, not revenge. If this story touched you, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories.